Hey guys, AJ Cassata here, co-founder of Revenue Boost. And you may or may not already know this, but cold email is an absolutely fantastic way to get clients. It's free. It's literally free leads. It costs you nothing to get clients with cold email other than your time. It's extremely hyper-targeted, so you can get really high-quality leads and really laser on your dream clients. You know, if you want to reach CEOs of newly funded tech companies that are already doing $10 million a year in California, you can reach those people with the click of a button. And it works. It's extremely reliable, and we've helped so many of our clients double, triple, even 5x their business revenues just using cold email. But the problem is, how do you stand out? A lot of people are using cold email. You might get a lot of pitches in cold email or even in your LinkedIn inbox. How do you stand out? How do you write that perfect message that really cuts through the noise, captures your target market's attention, and gets them to want to meet with you and work with you? Well, that's exactly what we're going to cover today. Today's going to be a copywriting masterclass for cold email and what I've learned from literally sending millions of cold emails with my team and helping my clients do the same. Now, what this is actually a recording from a 5-day bootcamp we hosted recently, all about how to get your next 5 clients with cold email. And this is day 3 where we did a masterclass just on copywriting. So that's what this is. That's what I pulled this from. The event was so valuable and we got so much good feedback on day 3. I wanted to share it with all of you on YouTube. So hope you enjoy it. And if you want to actually get the recording to the entire 5-day bootcamp, you can have that as well. I'll put the link down below and you can go get the recordings to the event. And make sure you're in my Facebook community. The link is also down below, B2B Sales and Marketing Secrets, because that's where we give announcements about new events we're hosting and you can actually join these things live. But anyways, if you want to catch the whole event, catch it below. And I hope you enjoy day 3 because today we're going to talk about copywriting mastery. Enjoy. Today is the Consistent Client Challenge, day 3, copywriting mastery, where we're going to cover how to write the perfect cold email. So to back up, summary on yesterday, if you missed yesterday, if you missed any of the previous days, definitely go back and watch them. It's going to really help you make sure everything connects. What we learned yesterday is that cold outreach is a powerful method and it's free or dirt cheap to try. You can use it on any platform, emails, DMs, calls. It's a tried and true method. It's a way of communicating that you can apply to any medium, which is why it'll never go out of style, never not work, because it's always, no matter what's happening with the world, no matter what platforms are out there, you'll always be able to reach someone through email or DM or a call, right? You can generate sales from it in multiple ways. So most of you are coming here to learn how to get more leads, but you can also use cold outreach to reactivate your customer database and reach out to people every single quarter from past clients, past calls, and just reactivate some of those leads and get some low-hanging fruit sales. You can use it for business development and partnerships, referral partnerships, JVs, find other people who are selling other stuff to your industry that are not competing, and reach out to them and form partnerships where you share each other's client lists, and personal branding as well. Niche offer message is half the battle. We talked about the 3 steps yesterday: create a list, message the list, follow up leads to convert them to the next step. That's all it is, right? And today we're going to dive deep on how to actually message the list, number 2. You can send personalized messages to a small list, which is quality first, or you can send a templated message to a huge list, quantity first, or you can go somewhere between because it's a spectrum and you can base that off of how much is a client worth to you, what is their average contract value to help you decide that. And you can scale this infinitely using automation and delegation. Once you know the numbers, once you have something that works, once something works, it becomes a numbers game and is very predictable to scale. You know exactly how many emails do I send to get how many calls booked, to get how many clients and how much revenue. So at first it's a creative process when you're trying to just experiment, see what works. But then once you have something that works, it's mechanical and you're just really playing the numbers game and just becoming more process driven about scaling it up. And lead magnets will boost responses like crazy. We will get into that today. So copywriting mastery. Today we're covering how to write the perfect cold email. And again, if your target market's on LinkedIn and if you're doing LinkedIn outreach or even something else, don't worry, the same principles you're learning today apply to other channels as well. We're just going to at least show some examples from cold email. Don't mind my award-winning design skills. I know I made this myself. I'm very proud of it. It took years and years to make this and really put the hard work into it. But yeah, hope you guys like the design. Who here has actually seen this diagram before? So this is one of the most important things you can understand about copywriting. And I always like to find frameworks for everything in my business because it just helps me make sense of everything and I just save thinking time. So for example, if you're thinking about finances in business, profit and loss, P&L, revenue minus expenses, that's a framework, right? That's like a system you follow to quickly understand how to make sense of your finances, right? This is the #1 most used framework I use. I think about this every time I'm doing anything with marketing. So this is definitely one to screenshot and definitely one to make sure you understand. And if you guys want to go Google it up later, you can just Google Stages of Awareness, Eugene Schwartz, and read more about it as well. But you definitely won't find any sharper looking snazzy designs than mine. I promise you that. Anyway, so this right here is the buyer's journey, right? Some of you guys also might be familiar with top of funnel, middle of funnel, bottom of funnel. This is similar to that, but this really goes more into what happens at each stage on the prospect's mind psychologically, right? So this is really the buyer's journey. Whenever anyone buys anything, they go through these 5 stages in their process, right? They go from top to bottom. Even if they're buying ice cream, they're going through these 5 stages. They're unaware, problem aware, solution aware, right? So what does this mean? Basically, when someone's thinking about your service, they could be only in one of these 5 stages. The first stage is unaware, which means their life is good, everything's normal. They're not thinking about a problem. They're not thinking about your solution. They're not even looking for it. They would just scroll right past your ad, right? They're just unaware and like they're not experiencing anything yet. Second step is problem aware. Now they're starting to experience the problem that you solve. They just don't know exactly what's going wrong, but they know that something's wrong and they have a problem and they just need to do something about it. They're getting that itch. This is where a lot of people will start looking into solutions, which is step 3, solution aware. So after someone realizes they have a problem, at some point it'll nag at them so much that they'll start to actually look at solutions. And now they'll be like, you know what, I want to fix my problem. And now they're actually spending time and energy to solve it. They're figuring out what is the result I'm looking for? What are my options? What are the different ways I can solve this? And that's when they're starting to like look at YouTube videos, Google stuff, go into Facebook groups and ask questions, hop on calls with people like you, right? So then they're solution aware. After that, they're product aware, right? Once they've actually done a little bit of that research, now they're actually comparing your offer versus others, and they're looking at different products and services. And then after that, they're most aware. They know everything about everything, and now they're just really making that decision, and they just want to know the best deal they can get. So these are the 5 stages anyone goes through with everything. Agency as well. We had someone before in the VIP session talking about how they do websites for trades and contractors. So contractor would be unaware at first, everything's good in their business. Second thing is problem aware. Now they're noticing, hey, I haven't gotten any leads from my website in like ever. Like I'm paying all this per month for my website, but I just noticed I haven't gotten a client from it. Something's wrong. Solution aware. Now they're looking at their website and maybe they're researching, maybe they're starting to talk to people. Product aware. Now they're actually looking at what is your offer and comparing it to others. So no matter what you buy on planet Earth, you go through these 5 stages, even if it's really quick, right? Again, even if something ridiculous like you're buying ice cream, right? You're unaware because you're just living your life. Then you're problem aware because maybe you get thirsty, or maybe you see an ad on TV, or maybe someone walks past you with a really beautiful looking soft serve and you're like, now you're craving it. And then you're solution aware. Now you're looking at all the different options, right? The mint chocolate chip, the vanilla, the strawberry, everything else. So no matter what you buy, even if it happens in a few split seconds, you go through these stages. So why are we showing you this? What do you do with this for copywriting? What you have to realize is you have to know which part of the market you're writing your copy for. You have to know that people are at different stages and which stage are you trying to write for, right? So what you have to realize is the bottom 3 stages, solution aware, product aware, most aware, that's less than 10% of any market. And it's been said that really less than 3% of any market is actually looking for a solution right now and ready to make a purchasing decision. Now, here's why this matters. Most people, when they write a cold email or any outreach message, they're writing their outreach message assuming that people are solution aware, right? Assuming that people are actually ready to buy now. And why do I say that? Because most ads and most cold email messaging, it's always, hey, here's my offer, here's my product, here's why we're different, and here's why we're better than others. We had another person, Tom, in the VIP session before, sharing a cold email where he was sharing like his pricing and why he's better than competitors. So that would be a great example of a well-written email, but it's written towards people that are only at product aware and solution aware. Now, if you know that only 3% of the market are actually in that stage where they've committed to solving the problem, they've researched solutions and they're trying to find the best one, what happens is 97% of people are tuning out that message, right? Most cold emails you get, it's usually, hey, here's my name, here's my business, here's what we do, here's the benefits, are you interested? And again, that's product aware. That's assuming that you already are looking for a solution and you're trying to compare the best ones. So you don't want to write marketing that's solution aware, right? You want to really write it to the point where people are problem aware, because more people have the problem than are looking for the solution. Although a really tiny percentage of the market is looking for a solution right now, a lot more people are actually experiencing the problem. And if you bring that up, then you'll be able to get them to really pay attention to your message. And they would have otherwise tuned you out if you're going into the intricacies of your solution, because they didn't even know that solution is what they need at this point. They haven't even gone in that process. But if you can call it a problem they're having, that's going to be more relevant. So that is the 5 stages of awareness, and that's why it matters. So you want to be thinking to problem aware when you're writing your messaging. Lead with the problem. If it bleeds, it leads, right? A lot of ads you might see in your Facebook feed, it's always saying, hey, are you struggling with this? Are you tired of this? Are you having this problem? Because a lot of people are having the problem, and that'll hook them in, and that'll get them to move to solution aware if they're not already there yet. And even someone who is solution aware and is already down there, they're still going to respond to a problem aware message because they're still, again, aware of the problem they have. And also, yeah, TAM is total addressable market. It means how many people are actually in the market you have. So yeah, with that said, really important to make sure, and you'll see examples of this later, but make sure you're writing your copy to people that are problem aware. Focus on just saying, hey, do you have this problem? Rather than, hey, here's my solution, and here's why it's better than everyone else. Because otherwise, most people are going to tune you out. Make this one simple shift and your response rates will go through the roof for sure. Let's talk about the difference in ads versus cold outreach copy. Actually, hold on. I'm seeing a lot of people in the chat. This is really resonating with. Who wants to be a volunteer? Anyone want to be a lucky guinea pig if you're not sure like how this relates to your business yet?
Hey guys.
Hey man, welcome.
Thanks for doing this. It's been really good so far, so I appreciate it.
Yeah, sure thing.
So what do you want to know?
Yeah, so what is it you sell?
So we are growth partners for mid-sized companies, and we work with both the marketing and sales teams to optimize process and implement marketing and CRM systems.
Okay, cool. What would you say are the main differentiators to you versus your competitors, or like when people are like trying to hire you over someone else, what really gets them to want to work with you?
Yeah, one is that when we think about a business, there's people, process, platform, but businesses focus so much on the platform and the data when the real magic is actually in the people and the process, and the technology is just there to actually amplify what you're doing. So we flip it on its head in terms of strategy and process. We build everything before you buy it, meaning a lot of agencies will try and push the sale because they're getting a finder's fee on the SaaS side of things.
Yeah.
And so we're a little bit different in that we're going to build all of the strategy and you're going to say go before we sign up to any SaaS platform. So that way you're going to save a month or two at least. So it helps the client get up and running a bit faster, at least from an optics perspective.
Awesome. Before someone even thinks about any of that, okay, so that's really cool. So that makes sense, right? You guys aren't just tech experts, but you focus on the people and the process and give them a more holistic view of the whole situation. Before someone is going down that point and evaluating that, before they even know you exist or before they even know they need a growth agency, what are the problems that show up in their life or their business that would get them to start paying attention to this?
They could be experiencing lower than expected sales. They could have just members of the sales team that aren't performing to the standard that they set. There could be infighting between the sales and marketing teams. The kind of age old, like marketing's blaming sales for not being able to close, and sales is telling marketing, oh, your leads are terrible. Not having visibility on marketing performance or sales activity, which leads to performance. Not having actionable customer data. Those are all problems.
Gotcha. Visibility, customer data, sales and marketing misalignment, sales team performance going down, and just various marketing metrics could be off, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So now, as everyone you can see, right, this works for any business. Every prospect's going to go through these stages, right, no matter what you sell. In Mark's case, he could write 5 different emails, right? One email is saying, hey, are you having a problem with, visibility? Or are you having a problem getting all of your data in one place? We've helped other companies solve this. Curious if you want more info. And down the list, right? Hey, are you having a problem with customer data? Hey, are your sales and marketing team at odds with each other and you're trying to get them to work together better? We found the solution. And basically, he could just run 5 different emails, each targeting a different problem. And that's going to get a lot more interest from people than if he was to say, hey, here's why we're better than everyone else. We actually focus on the people in the process, not just the tech. To the tiny percentage of his market that's actually trying to hire a growth partner and they're looking at options, that would resonate with them, right? Because it's, okay, this is a differentiator. But to everyone else who's just having the problem and aren't even thinking about people, process, tech, or they're not even thinking about hiring a growth agency yet, they would just tune that out because they're just not there yet. But by talking about any of those 5 problems, and again, that could just be 5 emails run side by side, and you can test them against each other. What hooks more people in? Which one of those gets more results? And then you can actually see which one of those problems is the biggest problem. By doing that, he's going to reach a much wider market and have a lot more people responding than if you just went to the whole, here's why we're different, here's why our solution is the best. Because again, most people aren't looking for that. So I hope that makes sense for everyone, just to see a real example. Does that make sense for you as well, Mark?
Yeah, no, that's great. Thanks.
Cool. And then Chris, if you're up for it too, we can do a quick one with you, Chris.
Yeah, good.
So what do you sell?
Programmatic SEO.
Okay. What are the benefits of programmatic SEO versus doing something else?
Standard SEO is trying to rank an entire website in various different locations and regions, focusing on the main keywords and the core keywords. With programmatic SEO, we create web pages on scale that are service and location or product and location specific. So we can produce lots and lots of pages that rank in local regions so that we can get those businesses ranking across multiple locations very quickly for various services.
Yeah, makes sense. So you produce pages in local regions that help them rank for, and what would you say is the end result of that? Why does that help the client more than if they just go to the standard SEO?
Okay, so they'll spend tens of thousands on focusing on the main keywords that everybody else is going after in SEO. Whereas what we do is we look at the low-hanging fruit, so the specific long-tail keywords like regional searches, painter, decorator in Somerset or painter, decorator in Bristol. And we create pages based around those locations: boiler repair, Bristol; boiler repair, Western-super-Mare; boiler repair, Clevedon.
And that helps them get more ROI out of SEO as a whole, or because they're going after less competitive terms, or what does that end up helping?
Yeah, exactly. They effectively rank in many more locations and pick up all the low-hanging fruit, which everybody else is ignoring.
Yeah, it makes sense. So they're able to really, and especially in a competitive market, they can beat that as well.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, awesome. And are your clients people that are already doing SEO, but they want this new approach, or are you helping even just bring people that aren't doing SEO onto it in the beginning, but in a better way than other people?
Yeah, so generally they're not doing SEO. They've launched websites, they've got websites, and they're seeing big national companies that are mopping up all of the locations and then selling the inquiries. Yeah, and if they're not in with those inquiries with the national companies that have already done regional stuff, then they're falling behind. So they just really want to grow their footprint, get ranked in more locations, and get more traffic in local areas that they're not currently able to reach.
Gotcha. So they want to get more traffic in local areas that they aren't currently able to reach. And they can't currently reach that because they're not doing SEO or because they're just doing it, but at a very just basic level.
A lot of them aren't doing it. And even if they are doing it, what you tend to find most traditional SEO companies focus on the main core keywords.
Yeah.
So the focus keywords. So they're focusing on the 80, 90,000 searches a month keywords, whereas there's thousands of keywords that are 20, 30 searches a month that nobody else focuses on.
Which means they're having to spend a lot more time, energy, and potentially money on that.
Yeah, yeah.
So in this example, a problem-aware message would be something like, hey, are you not getting as much ROI from your SEO as you want? Do you feel like you're having a hard time trying to beat the competitors in a really high competition area? Are you not getting enough traffic in your local direct area? That's a more problem-aware message, whereas getting into the details of like why programmatic SEO is different and the difference between long tail and the main keywords, the core keywords versus everything else, and all the intricacies of the strategy. If you were to say that up front in marketing, it would really overwhelm people or they wouldn't really understand why they need it. So when someone's already on a call with you and they've already past solution aware, past product aware, and now they want to know the ins and outs of it, why everything compares, that's a good time to really go into like the intricacies of it. But really early on, just the first hook someone in, it's just A, why do you need SEO in the first place? What are the problems your business is having? I need more traffic, right? And then B, what are the problems that you might be experiencing with your current SEO? We need more traffic in the local area. We're having a hard time beating everyone else in the competition. We're spending so much energy on content and it's not getting us the results we want, right? So it's more about speaking to those early stage problems before you even mention the uniqueness of your solution or what it is. So no matter what your business is, there's always these stages people go through, and you always want to find out like what is the first inkling of the problem they're facing? Where does it first show up to them? And that's what you want to speak to because that's what everyone can relate to. Does that make sense for you though?
Yep. Thank
you.
Cool.
Awesome. And thanks for being the guinea pig. You'll definitely learn a lot today too once we get into some of the templates behind this. I've helped a lot of SEO agencies with lead gen and cold email. It's definitely competitive, but there's also a ton of demand, right? So once you just have an outreach message that's a little bit better than everyone else, you'll stand out for sure. Anyways, just want to have a couple quick examples so you guys can see that no matter what your business is, think through the stages. People are unaware, problem aware, solution aware. And then when they get to product aware, then they want to know the really specific details on why you're different, why you're better. Most people, if you say that too early, then you're just, again, people are tuning it out, right? Because they're not there yet in the buyer's journey. A very tiny percentage of the market is that educated. So we need to speak to them, not about so much the intricacies of the solution, but just what are the problems that they're thinking about now? What's top of mind for them now? I like to think about it as like the symptoms of the problem. Like how did the problem show up in their life, right? It shows up because we're not getting enough traffic, right? Or we're spending so much time on content or whatever it is. So how does the problem actually show up for them day to day? What does it look like? What do they see? What do they hear? When you talk to that, you're going to really connect with people because you're connecting to something that's already on their mind rather than bringing up a totally new idea that they don't even know they need yet, right? Cool. So we'll show examples of it once we get into the templates section of today. This is a question I get asked a lot, right? Hey, AJ, like how is cold outreach copy different than what I do with my ads or my social media content? Because I've seen a lot of really good copywriters write a cold email and it doesn't really work very well. And the difference is it's a different medium, right? Most copywriting, it's one-to-many. If you're emailing like a newsletter, like all of your customer list at once, or you're writing copy for a website or a Facebook ad or a landing page or a social media post or whatever it is, billboard, whatever it is, you're speaking one-to-many, right? You're saying like, hey, we can help all of you with this. And the tone of it is one-to-many. But with cold outreach copywriting, you can't speak one-to-many. You have to speak one-to-one. And you guys have seen this, right? When you get emails and it's, hey, we would like to work with your company and we provide this for people like you. Most cold emails I get, it feels very much like an ad going out to a lot of people. But you want it to really feel one-to-one, like it's conversational to them. Like, hey, I saw your website, right? I saw your Shopify store. I think your ad creatives could be a little bit better. We've helped companies get their click-through rates up 30%. Would you want to have a chat about it? So the point is, at the end of the day, cold email is a one-to-one medium. We use email to have conversations with people. We use our DMs in our LinkedIn or our Facebook to have conversations with people, right? So when someone shows up there with an ad, a message that looks like it's mass marketed to a lot of people, it's just like we ignore it because that's not what they're there for. That's not what we're looking for at that point. So it just feels weird. So the best cold emails is when it feels like a one-to-one message. Imagine like you're writing a handwritten note to someone. That's how personal it should feel, right? If you're writing like a really handwritten note to someone, to one person directly, you'd be speaking directly to them. So that's how it should feel. Another way to look at this is when you're writing copy that's one-to-many, like for a social media post or an ad, an email or whatever it is, you're talking at them, right? You're like giving information to a lot of people and more talking at them. But with cold email or any kind of cold outreach DMs, you're talking to them. You should really feel like you're connecting with them. It's got to really feel personal. Like it should feel like you open up your laptop and you just found this business and you just reached out yourself, right? Even if you're using an automated tool, it should still have that vibe of this person reached out to me. Because when we feel like someone is actually reaching out to us personally and there's some thought behind it, we're much more likely to reply and be like, okay, why did this person feel like they needed to talk to me today? But if you just send out this blast that's just talking at people, giving a bunch of information about your product, and it seems like it's going out to everyone, it's not what we're used to in email, right? And that's why it doesn't resonate. Now, getting tactical, here's what your email needs to answer, right? So before you actually write anything, you have to think, before I write any kind of copy, right? Post, email, ad, whatever, I'm always thinking, what is the purpose of this piece, right? What questions do I need to answer, right? So that you have that intention going in. What your email or DM needs to answer is, how can you help me? Who are you? What are you asking me for? The best way you can get better at marketing is actually pay attention to how you are as a consumer. I always look at ads like I'm that one weirdo that doesn't skip YouTube ads because I like seeing like how my mind responds to the ads. So you can learn a lot just by seeing like what unconsciously happens in your brain when you're seeing a cold email. So I actually save every cold email I get because I will try to look at which ones grab my attention, which didn't, right? So start to pay attention to your own habits when you're receiving like an email or a DM or you're looking at an ad. But for cold outreach, for emails and DMs, this is really the three things that are happening in your brain, whether you realize it or not. First, you're wondering like, how can you help me? What is it that you can help me with in my business? So you're trying to see if there's any value first in the interaction, right? The second thing is once you realize, okay, this person's offering me something useful, then it's who are you? At that point, they would look at your signature or your LinkedIn profile, and then they want to know a little bit more about who are you, right? But see, the mistake a lot of people make is they start their emails with, who are you? Hi, I'm this, and I'm this job title at this company, right? And the thing is, people don't really care about who you are yet until they know that you can help them, and there's a reason to want to know about your company, right? It's like when you start off just talking about yourself, it's much better if you just flip that and talk about them first and how you can actually help them. Because people care more about themselves than they care about you, right? So first you have to answer, how can you help me? Really quick. Then they'll want to know, who are you? And then the last thing is, okay, I like this person. They seem credible and they can definitely help me. The last thing is, and this is where a lot of people go wrong, what are you asking me for? So a lot of people write these great emails, but there's not a clear ask at the end. There's not a clear call to action. You want to have one clear request. Hey, let's meet tomorrow. Or, hey, can I send you a quick video about this? Or, hey, do you want more information? So if you write this really great email, but you don't really have a conclusion or a question, you want to end it with a question, not a statement, because when you just leave this big email and there's a statement at the end, the prospect doesn't know what to do next. In sales, you're always trying to lead the prospect down the next stage, right? You're leading them through your process. You can't expect them to think through and suggest what to do next because that puts too much friction on their end. You don't want them to have to think. You want to do the thinking for them. So whatever you're asking them for, make it clear. Don't ask them to go to your website and download something and talk to you. Ask them for just one thing and just make it really easy for them to respond. Because once you have them hooked in, you want to make it really easy for them to just take the next step, right? So these are the three things every one of your emails needs to answer, right? How can you help me? Who are you? What are you asking me for? And it's in that order. So that's what's going on in people's mind. Now, this is the core framework and the key points. So I'm going to show some actual templates here today, and we're going to write one together, which is going to be fun. But this is really the core framework. These are like the key ingredients. So no matter what template you're using or how you're writing your email, these are the four things that really need to be in every email, right? Some sort of intro or icebreaker, right? Mentioning the problem they have, mentioning just something about them or their company or their industry, just some sort of, hey, here's why I reached out. Then a problem or a need, and then a solution to that problem, and then the results of it, or the credibility, which is same thing as results. You can just frame it more in terms of like how you've helped other people, right? And then a call to action, right? And we have different call to actions we use, which is soft, hard, or a question. A soft call to action would be like, hey, do you want more information? A hard call to action is, hey, can we meet this week, right? It's asking for something bigger. And a question could be just be a question about their problem, such as, let's say you're selling a CRM solution. It could be, hey, how do you guys currently manage your leads? A question that gets them to really think about the problem. I usually recommend sticking to soft ones because it's easier for someone to say, yes, I want more information versus saying, yes, let's meet for 60 minutes tomorrow. But again, these are the four things in your cold email, right? You need to just have these four things and nothing else. You need to point out a problem because more people are problem aware. You need to show that you can solve that problem and get them results, right? You don't need to say exactly what your solution is. Just say, hey, our company helps people get results like this, right? And then let them ask you about what the solution is. And then just end with a clear question because you don't want them to just read your email and think, oh, this is great, and then move on with their day. You want to lead them to the next step with a specific question, right? So this is the core framework. We have lots and lots of templates that we use, but it's always these are the four ingredients, right? Like if you're baking a cake, you need the ingredients. These are the ingredients of a cold email, right? Because if you don't have the problem, people aren't going to be very interested. If they don't know that there's a problem or a need they have, then the rest doesn't matter, right? So they need to have that problem or need. They need to have the solution or some sort of result you can promise them, right? Because if you say you have the problem, but you don't really allude to the fact that you can help them solve it or you've solved it for other people like them, then there's no benefit to them to talk with you, right? And then you need a call to action because, again, you need to lead them to the next step and get them to reply to you. So these are the 4 ingredients that need to happen. And now we'll look at some examples. Also, here's a way to remember this easier. I call it the 5 Ps. Personalization, problem, promise, which is what is the benefit of solving that problem. Proof, which is, hey, we've done this for 80 other people like you, or hey, we just did this for a big name brand in your space. Because people are always skeptical of claims, right? So I'm a big fan of having like small claims, like just really like a result that they want, but it seems realistic because people they don't just have to believe in your service, they have to believe in themselves that they can actually get that result, right? They have to believe it's possible for them. So when you're writing your email, just think about, do I have these 5 Ps in there? So personalization, problem, promise, proof, and push, which is the call to action. Now, my top 3 tips on how to make sure you're executing these 5 Ps well and make sure that the template looks good is focus on the person and the problem, not the product. So another 3 Ps. I didn't even realize that, but now we have 8 Ps there. But yeah, person and problem, not the product. Always pay attention to the cold emails and the LinkedIn DMs you get, and pay attention to the ones you don't like, and ask yourselves, why don't you like it? And pay attention to the ones that do hook your attention, because this is where you can learn firsthand, right? Most of the emails I get, they're focused on their product. Hi, my name is this company, we're doing this, and here's why it's the best. And again, it's just talking about themselves. You can relate a lot of sales to dating, right? Imagine that there's a single guy going up to a girl at a bar, and all he's doing is talking about himself. I'm the best, and I have this big house, and I have this amazing career, and I can do 20 push-ups, whatever it is. That girl would be out of that conversation in a minute because that guy's only talking about himself. He's not taking an interest in her needs or her interests or what she's all about. So it's the same thing with sales. Start your emails by focusing on, hey, I noticed that you're in this job role, and a lot of other VPs I've noticed are having this problem. I'm wondering if that's the same for you. Focus on the person and the problem they're having, not your product, because they only care about your product if they know that you understand them and you can help them with the problem they're having. So again, talk about them more than you talk about you. Same goes for sales calls, right? Your sales calls should be 80% listening to the other person, 20% talking about your offer, right? Because it's all about listening and understanding their needs. People want to feel understood, right? People are always worried about people just selling them all this stuff that they don't need. When you take an interest in them and their problems, they really feel like more, okay, this person is genuine. They actually really are trying to help you. Second thing is your message should look like a regular casual email from a coworker or a client, not a sales pitch. You don't want your message to look like a sales pitch, right? Because again, think about why people go in their email inbox. They go in their email inbox to talk to their coworkers and clients and just get done with it and get on with their day. Usually like I'm in my email in the morning for 30 minutes. I'm trying to get in there and get out so I can get on with like actual tasks, right? I'm not opening my email inbox thinking like, oh man, I can't wait to see a bunch of sales pitches today. No, I wouldn't do that. Now it's different when someone's on like Facebook or TikTok and they're looking at ads, right? They're just open to whatever. They're like trying to be entertained or find new stuff. But with email, people are going there because they're intentionally trying to get shit done and get on with their day. So your email can't give the alarm bells of, oh, this is a sales pitch. The biggest way it does that is when you have a really long email, they know it's a sales pitch, right? So short, simple words, right? 3 to 5 sentences. That really gives the vibe of, oh, this is a quick note from possibly a coworker or a client or someone I should do business with, right? And this also comes down to the tone. That's why I said before, make it feel like it's a one-to-one letter, like you're writing a letter to a person, not like a walking ad, right? You're not trying to talk at them, you're trying to talk to them. So your message needs to look like a regular casual email. It should be quick conversational wording. You don't want to use a lot of buzzwords like we have a revolutionary, amazing, groundbreaking product. None of that stuff really impresses people. It just makes you seem like salesy, right? So just use simple words, keep it at like 5th grade reading level. And again, you don't want to look like this long sales pitch, right? It should just look like a quick message from their colleagues and it's going to blend in and they're going to actually open it then. And then also, thirdly, your goal is to get a reply. So this also is going to sound a little counterintuitive, but you're actually not advertising with cold email and you're not selling and you're not educating. There is a place in your marketing to advertise, sell, and educate, but it's not in your first outreach message. And why? Because sales is one step at a time. You're just trying to sell the next step. So instead of thinking about how can I get someone to buy my product or believe in my solution in my cold email, just think, how can I get them to be intrigued enough to reply and say, tell me more. So you're just trying to sell the next step, right? And you're just trying to sell them on really getting a call with you. You're trying to sell them on exploring your offer, having a call with you, right? And also whatever benefits they get out of having a call, if you're giving them a lead magnet or just some advice over the call as well, right? But you're trying to sell them on the next step. So this takes a lot of the pressure off and having to be this amazing copywriter. You don't need to tell them everything about your offer. You just need to tell them enough so that they're interested to reply and want to meet with you. So stop trying to do so much in one email. That's why most people have a hard time writing a short email. Just saying, hey, this is a relevant problem I've helped other people in your industry with. Are you having this? Would you like to see how we can solve it for you? That's enough to get someone talking, right? And want to meet with you, right? But when you go into all the details of your solution and the benefits of it and how it's better than everyone else, it's just too much, right? Because it's just focus on one step to the next, right? Focus on selling that next step. Just like in the example I shared yesterday, where when I was selling house painting services and I was doing door-to-door marketing, I realized that if I sold them on, hey, would you like a quote? Would you like to see how much this costs? Versus saying, hey, would you like to get your house painted for $10,000? It was a lot easier because it was a lower commitment. So your goal is to get a reply, and you're not really trying to advertise or sell or educate. You're just trying to intrigue them to want to talk to you. And then that's where you can move them to the next step. One more tip is, and this is crucial, to answer the WIIFM, which is what's in it for me, as quick as possible. Again, these people, when you're doing cold outreach or any kind of cold lead gen to an audience who doesn't know you, they don't know you and they don't really care yet about your company or you or your life story. All they want to know is what's in it for me. Why should I spend my hard-earned time, right? Why should I spend my hard-earned seconds, minutes, hours to read more and talk to you, right? They want to know just what's in it for me. So within the first 2 sentences of your email, there should be a benefit or a problem that you can help solve, right? So again, like, people are going through their email inbox trying to just really prioritize their important stuff and get on with their day. If they are going to read their email and they know it's a sales pitch, you have to really get to that benefit real quick. Otherwise, they're going to be like, oh, another cold email. Let me just get on with my day and delete this, right? So get to the what's in it for me really quick. Get to the point quickly about why they should care about what you have to say. Again, they care about themselves more than they care about you and your business. But once they realize you can help them, then they care about your business. And then they want to know why you're better, why you're different, and who you are. But not at the very beginning, right? First, it's about them, not you. So just imagine that every prospect in your market has a big sign over their head that says, what's in it for me, right? Everyone wants to know how you can help them. The number one person they care about in their life is themselves, right? So talk about how you can help them, what's in it for them if they're to keep reading your message or to talk with you. So we talked before about how the message should feel conversational and casual and short. Here's some actual guidelines. So keep it at a 7th grade reading level or under. Even if you're selling to really smart people like NASA scientists or something, just because you're selling to a really highly educated market doesn't mean that they don't want to talk casually or they don't want to read simpler, easier to read writing. So I find a lot of people when they're in B2B, they think that their messaging has to be very complex and using big vocabulary, big buzzwords as if they're at like Harvard or something. And a lot of times we try to do this so that we sound smart, but all we do is we lose the readers, right? Because it just puts a wall up between us and them. It makes it feel like they're talking to a corporation. And at the end of the day, you want your copy to be readable and simple, because if you think about the best posts you've read or the best books you've read, usually the wording is so simple, it's just easy to read. It just is like fun to read. So keep it at a low reading level. I believe the average reading level in America is a 5th grade level. And this is why also Donald Trump got so much interest in his first presidential election, because you can see that when he speaks, he's speaking and he's dumbing it down so much. He's speaking in such simple words, simple statements, right? And most people, that's how they want to be communicated to, right? So keep everything at a really simple, short wording. Don't use these big vocabulary words, big buzzwords. All it does is it loses the reader because it makes them have to do more work to comprehend and understand it, right? And also, you wouldn't use those words a lot in real life, but also there's a little bit of disconnect there too. Also, keep it a max of 100 words. There's a study done by a company called Lavender.ai, which is an AI cold email tool. And they said that they analyzed a few million cold emails that ran through their system. They found that emails with 25 to 50 words have double the reply rate. Now, that's not a lot of words. 50 words is about 3 sentences, right? But again, if you're just trying to mention a quick problem they have and a client you've helped solve it for, mention a quick case study, you can do that in 2 or 3 sentences, right? So the shorter, the better. And 94% of all emails are actually read on a phone. So most emails are read on mobile, which means if it's really long, people have to scroll and they're not going to make time for that. Think about when you look at your emails. It's probably mostly often on your phone. But yeah, shorter is better. Also, when you have a really long message, people will skim it. And you don't want someone to skim your copy. Like, you wrote every word there for a particular reason to have an impact, right? So you don't want someone skimming your message because then they only get half the story. You want to really guide everyone down the same sort of psychological journey. So the shorter your copy is, the more that they're just going to read it. If it's 3 sentences, I'm not going to skim it. It's just faster for me to read it, right? Like you can't help but just read it. So when it's short, they get the whole message. When it's long, they just skim it. Or they might just throw it out because they just assume really quick, oh, this is a sales pitch and I'm too busy for this. The shorter is better. Again, you're not trying to just do so much in one email. You're just trying to really get to the point. Another tip is read it out loud. When you read your copy out loud, you can see if it sounds awkward or weird. So I do this a lot, and I'll write something and I'll read it out loud. And if it sounds weird or awkward or robotic, if it sounds like something I wouldn't say to a friend or a coworker, then I'm not going to write it. I'm going to know that I have to work on it a little bit more. Because if it reads out loud weird, then it's going to read to the person weird, right? So you'll find this, right? If you look at something cold emails you've written, say it out loud. And if it sounds like a mouthful, like if it sounds like so long and like you're catching your breath, or if it sounds awkward and robotic, it doesn't sound conversational, there's a lot of like big words that like you wouldn't normally say in real life, then you know that you need to rework it. So it should sound smooth and conversational like you would say to someone, because if it sounds like that when you read it out loud, it's going to read like that to them. And then it's going to feel to them like, oh my God, I'm actually talking to a person. So that's really what you want. You want to really have that connection with them. And again, imagine you're just writing this to a friend in a coffee shop, an email or a DM you get from a team member. It shouldn't sound like a walking ad. So those are really the writing guidelines. This is a 4-point checklist you can use when you're writing your copy or reviewing past copy. Make sure it's hitting all these 4 points. A good tip is to use the Hemingway app. It's actually a free app online. And what Hemingway does is you can actually put any kind of writing, right? Any copy in there, and you'll put it in there. And if anything's complex wording, like if anything's really like lengthy and complex vocabulary or hard to understand, then it'll be highlighted yellow or red, right? And basically it helps you just simplify your copy and make it easier to read so that people can just really get, you can sink in with them, right? And they'll want to read the whole thing. So it also tells you how many words are there, and it tells you what reading level it is. So it'll tell you, hey, this message, this email is at a 10th grade reading level. Maybe you should simplify it and use some simpler wording. You also see how long it is, and you can make things more concise. A lot of times you can take something that's 3 sentences and say it in 1 sentence. You just got to really cut the fluff words and just make it more concise. But Hemingway app is a good free tool to help you with that. Definitely one to write down. So again, don't do this. Don't include tons of links and attachments. Don't make it an essay. Don't pitch your product or service. Don't talk about yourself constantly. And don't discuss features, not benefits. Cool. Who wants to see some examples? So first, let's look at, so whenever you're writing anything with marketing, you always have to think like, how does this show up to the person on their desktop or phone? How does your email show up in their inbox, right? The green ones are the ones that got me, right? Because the first one says stress AJ. So they had a really relevant pain point in the subject line. Obviously, as a business owner, there's a lot of stress, right? And she said, hey, there's a quick exercise to reduce sales stress. So how cool is that? Before even opening their email, she got to mention a problem and show a solution. That got me curious as well. That's pretty cool. Again, see how you don't need a lot of words to communicate a point? You just have to really keep editing it so you can get it down. And the other green one is Matt says, AJ, quick question. Hey, AJ, I read Janet Buck's recommendation on your LinkedIn. And then, okay, cool. This person actually researched me. I'll at least give them the time of day. Look at all the bad ones, right? You see how they're all the same, right? Magic Clicks agency, are you available in the morning? Availability tomorrow. So people, this guy hasn't even met me yet. He's already asking me for my hard-earned time, right? He's already asking me for my precious time that I could be hanging out with my wife or my dogs or like growing my business. Before he's even given me anything, he's asking me if I'm free tomorrow. Again, look at how your email shows up, and remember that your subject line in the first sentence is how you can hook them in, right? And at the bottom it says AJ, AI-based tool to raise the efficiency of Magic Clicks business. Raise the efficiency. Again, it just sounds like a buzzword. I'm not thinking like, how can I raise my efficiency? If he said, hey, save 20% of your time, that might be better, right? But it's too much of a buzzword there. Now let's look at some examples. So here's one I really like, and it was targeted at a sales leader, like a VP of sales at a company. Knowing what you know about what goes into a cold email, what's good about this? What points is he hitting? Easy to read, right? It's just refreshing to look at. It doesn't hurt your eyes. A big chunky paragraph does. Hitting pain points, right? In the first sentence, and also this be personalized. Okay, hey, I see that you're hiring. I'd imagine you're trying to also solve this problem related to hiring, right? Really good way of personalizing it. Some people personalize emails by saying, hey, I saw that you have a dog, or hey, I saw you're from New York, go Knicks. I get that a lot, right? Which is fine, but it's better if you can actually have a personalization that's related to why you're reaching out. Imagine you're looking for ways to reduce your ramp time. So that's definitely a problem that sales managers have, which is ramping up their team members and getting them up to speed. Low commitment CTA, right? So he didn't ask them for a meeting. He didn't ask them for their precious time. He said, can I send you a quick video, right? And then this video is actually giving them a benefit, right? How you can cut that time in half and ensure every person he hires is a top performer. If I'm hiring new people, I'm always worried, like, I want this person to be a top performer. I wouldn't ignore this one. That's good. Soft CTA and yeah, very casual. Subject is in the locus. And also, if every time you write copy, it feels hard to write casual and short like this, know that you're not alone. It takes a lot of practice to really get down to write conversationally, but with time, you'll get it. So it just takes practice. But yeah, it's casual, it's friendly, like just doesn't it have a good energy to it? It's like a very good tone. It feels like I'm actually talking to Mike and like he's really just talking to me like a buddy versus, hi, I'm this corporate person and I'm telling you all the benefits and selling you all my service. Almost like he knows me from somewhere. So yeah, I love this email. He had all the points and just honestly, this must be like 40 words here. And he didn't say also, hey, I help you get your industry average down to 5 to 6 months. He could have said that, it would have been fine, but he said, most sales leaders I speak to are struggling to get it below 5 to 6 months, which I thought is pretty cool because it sounds more like third party, like mentioning that he helps other clients with it without really saying, oh, I have the solution. And he's also really, it's just a little bit more casual by rather than selling his solution, he's just saying, hey, like I'm helping other people with this or other people are telling me this. It comes off more like he's educating the person, right? And then, yeah, the call to action is great too. So let's look at another one. This is actually from, yeah, good points, Sahib. He's missing the credibility. So that would be definitely, yeah, he's missing that proof part. He said most sales leaders I speak to are struggling with this. So that kind of is there. I would say he has credibility, the fact that he's using, so remember we talked Monday about messaging and getting to know your market and making sure that you sound like an insider. I would say that he has credibility because he's using terms like ramp time and get it below the industry average and make your A's a top performer. So because he's using so much industry terminology, that really shows he's credible and gives the assumption that he works with people in their niche. But yeah, it definitely could have been better if he also had a case study or shared, we've helped 30 other people do this, right? Here's another one. This is from one of our clients. This would be great for you, Tom, from the chat earlier, because this is another e-commerce agency. This is one of our clients who's in a really competitive niche e-commerce, but this one absolutely crushed it. It was getting 1 lead for every 40 emails sent, which is really good, especially in a competitive niche. Really like really 1 in 200 would be good for a competitive niche like e-commerce. But this one absolutely, day one was just crushing it and bringing in leads every day. So what do you guys like about this one? Great question, Caesar. How do you do this at sales? So he actually had trained a VA to personalize it. He trained a VA on what to look for on their website. And if they have like this or this, say this. If they have this or say this. So he actually wasn't writing it himself. He had just created an SOP for his VA to do this. And we'll talk about that Friday as well. But either way, first thing, man, you don't need to worry about scale at first, right? First thing is just get something that works, even if it takes more time. Then once it works, then you can figure out how to scale it. But definitely don't need to worry about scale from day one, although it's good to for sure keep in mind for later. Increasing 40% would get my attention. So that's a great specific measurable result, right? Solid niche expertise, right? So he said, I've helped other people, 65 eyewear e-commerce brands, right? Highly personalized, hard facts, numbers. Yeah, so a lot of people use like vague things like we'll help you grow your business. But when you can say specific things like we've optimized checkout mobile conversion rates 40%, it's like you can't argue with it, right? It's really specific. Points out the problem first and the solution. And yeah, all really good points. Low risk CTA, right? Are you open to help in this area? I love these low risk CTAs. Are you open to help? Do you want to learn more? I always find it's better than asking for a direct meeting right away. Yeah, really great email here. Again, it follows the 5 Ps. He's personalized it. He has the problem, right? A specific problem. He has the promise, right? And then the proof. I've helped other people do exactly this, and I have a few ideas. And see how he's selling the next step? He's not selling a service. He says, I have a few ideas to improve your conversion rates. Do you want to hear them? So he makes it easier to say yes to the next step because the next step is just, let's have a conversation. Notice how he didn't really say anything about what his actual service is. If you just talk about the problems and the results of solving that problems and the fact that you have the credibility to solve that problem, that's all people want to know at first, right? You don't need to say anything about we offer Facebook ads and Google ads and CRO and this and that. So really good one. Here's another one. What do you guys like about this? And for some of I think it was Daniel mentioned the grammar. I think you're going to hate that there's no periods here. But yeah, good point, Tom. A lot of people actually purposely mess up something with the grammar so it makes it look more real and organic rather than like automated marketing. So I've been on the receiving end of that a lot too. When you have like a typo, actually, it makes it look more, wow, this person just opened their phone and emailed me like a real person. So what do you guys like about this email? Again, it feels highly personalized. Highly personalized without it being personalized. This is actually AI personalization here. Brings them across the problem immediately, writes a solution. And I like that line of, hey, this is why I'm reaching out. It got me thinking we can work together because it's a nice bridge of like, why am I emailing you? So sometimes it's a little bit hard to connect the problem to the offer, but that's a nice little bridge sentence there. Soft, useful CTA, gives advice right away. Yeah, that's great too, right? So gives advice right away. Give value, right? If you give, the more you give, the more the people are willing to give you something, which is their time, right? So whether someone works with you or not, if they read your email and they get something out of it, like that's really great win and a great brand impression. So yeah, definitely a great point. It's a lead magnet, right? It's a free website audit, right? So easy to say yes to, and it's a lot of perceived value in that, right? And another one, this is actually, well, I'll tell you in a minute. What do you guys like about this one? This one isn't really personalized, but it still works. Again, if you have a really good template without personalization, that's fine, but you can still personalize it or make it feel personalized. You can see how we said, oh, your company is similar to another company we helped. So it could be more personalized, but again, you can still live without that one. What do you guys like about this one? What's in it for me, right? Really quick, in the first sentence, getting to a tangible, measurable results, and also a time frame, how long it took, right? And then getting to that deeper benefit, right? So yes, it's great to have extra monthly revenue, but people don't really just want more revenue. They really want what that revenue feels like, right? That predictability in their income, predictability in their growth, right? So it's really getting to the benefit of the benefit, as I like to say. Direct and to the case study. So this is a great template, by the way. If you can just get to a case study really quick, that's going to hook people in because that kind of implies the problem and the fact that you have a solution, right? And this one was actually my template, and it's been working really well, and we're still running it. So this is for revenue because I want to show you guys one of mine. But yeah, giving them a case study was a really good way. And then people, they actually read the case study. And then by the time they meet with us, they've already built a lot of trust. So that's a cool lead magnet as well, which we'll talk about soon. Now, who wants to look at some bad ones? Because these ones were not hard. The good ones were hard for me to find. I had to really sift through my email inbox to find these. But the bad ones, I get 5 of them a day. So who wants to see some what not to do? Here's one. And honestly, most emails I get look exactly like this. Hi, I'm Tobias. And what do you guys not like about this one? Too long. You would just tell that this is like someone trying to sell me something, and if I'm busy, I'm not going to read it, right? Too long, reaching on behalf. Yeah, to me, it's weird, right? I'm reaching to you on behalf of our CEO. I don't know who your CEO is. Like, why would that matter to me, right? Too many big words, exactly. So I'm going to read this out loud. I'm Tobias. I'm reaching out to you on behalf of our CTO with regards to a prospective, mutually beneficial collaboration between our 2 firms. We are an innovative, transparent, independent advisory firm engaging clients in your field to arrange dedicated operational as well as segregated. Oh man, I need a glass of water now. That's just like hard to read. It's hard to say. And remember the end of the long day exercise to imagine how your prospect describes their problem when they're having a bad day. Like I would never wake up in the middle of the night at 3 a.m. and ask my wife and be like, oh my God, we need a prospective mutually beneficial collaboration tomorrow. Let's focus on that in the morning. I would never say that. So when you use a lot of these big complex words, it just doesn't sound human. And it looks like it's sent to the masses. Exactly. Justina says it's bad. Exactly. That's the big takeaway. So yeah, again, they're focused on product aware, right? They're assuming that I already have a problem and want to solve it. And I'm just looking to find the best firm. And they're trying to tell me like why they're the best one. And then just, yeah, too many big words for sure. And also, they don't really have a call to action. They said you can find your more particulars at our website. Yeah, Chris, that's a good point. If the CEO doesn't think I'm important enough to reach out directly to me, then he's not important enough to me. That's a great point. Oh my God, he just sent his worker. Here's another one. This one honestly already lost me at the subject line. Less collaboration. Yeah, maybe having a typo here or there could make it look more organic, but that one's just far off. Just wanted to touch base. I'm not looking to touch base, honestly. I don't even know who you are, right? And again, they just get right to we're experts at Node, React, Python, ROR. I don't even know what those are. Like some of you guys would, right? When I see Python, I'm like, okay, it's some kind of development thing, right? But he's using jargon and lingo that makes sense to him, but not to me, right? And he's not even saying why I should focus on mobile app development. He's just assuming I already want a mobile app and saying that he's the best at Python and React and Node, right? Yeah, the label. Oh, you see the label. Good catch, Jeff. Just so you guys know, in my email inbox, I categorize all my cold email into good cold emails, warm ones, or sorry, okay ones, and awful cold emails. So this one made it to the awful folder. And I do that so that I can, when I'm looking for inspiration, I can look at what not to do or what to do. So you guys can do the same. But yeah, this one went right into the awful folder for sure. So yeah, this one definitely a no. So now I have a crazy idea. What if we all wrote a template live here together? Let's do it. Would you guys want to actually write one together and then share feedback and get feedback from the group? Put a 1 in the chat. 1, 1, 1. Give me the ones. Awesome. So let's do that because I like to make this more interactive. Now that we've learned a lot of the foundations, let's actually put it more into practice, right? So here's just 2 templates, and I'm just going to show you them real quick. You can pick whichever one you want, but based on what you learned today, I want you guys to write one of your own. We're going to put a 5-minute timer on it. And if you finished it, you can share it in the chat. And if not, you can work on it more. But what we're going to do after today is you're going to share them in our Facebook group, and everyone's going to give each other feedback, right? So you're going to be able to write it and ask it and see what came up for you, and then be able to get feedback over the next few days. So here's one template, which is a direct question about the problem. Hey, name, had a question. Ask a question about their offer, right? So I shared an example of this before. Imagine you were selling a CRM software, right? I got one of those recently. A question about the service could be, hey, how are you currently managing your leads? And then, yeah, if I could help you solve this problem and achieve this goal without this issue, would you be interested to see how? So this is one template. And this is another. Hi, first name, found your company on Google. Want your thoughts? Other personas and other job titles. So we had this before, right? Other sales leaders have been telling me they're struggling with RAM time, right? Is this the case for you? If so, I'd love to share what's working for clients to achieve this result. Interested to chat. So these are 2 templates, just pick whichever one floats your boat. Let me show you examples real quick. So this is an example of template 1, so you can see it in action. Saw your firm is specialized in DUI defense, and I thought I'd reach out. Are you interested to add more cases to your practice? If I can help you do this, look at that specific result, right? 30 to 45 cases within 90 days without having to rely on referrals or SEO, because a lot of law firms rely on referrals and SEO. Would you want to know how? Here's another one. Hi, Jim. I've been hearing from contractors that with inflation and rising wages, it's harder to keep labor costs down. Recently, we saw this. We lowered labor costs this much on this many jobs while maintaining high quality. I would love to share with you what we did and how you can boost your own worker productivity, interested in chat. So here's an example. Here's the templates again. There we go. So I'm going to put a 5-minute timer on. Finally get myself a glass of water, and everyone just write a template. Pick either one and just write it down. And then what we'll do is we'll share them offline over the next few days in the Facebook group. And we can pick one template too to just get some feedback on as well. So 5-minute timer is on. And go write the best you can. And don't worry if it's not perfect, right? And don't worry if you still want to work on it more. Just do the best you can to get something down on paper, just so we can really have the experience and see what came up. And in 5 minutes, we'll be back. This probably feels like the longest 5 minutes ever, right? Just a minute or two left, and you can post in the chat. Some people are done. See, that's a really good one. Love that. You can just pop them in the chat, but make sure we save them, because the main point of this is we're going to put them in the Facebook group, and everyone's going to be able to give each other feedback. Anthony, can you drop the Facebook group in the chat here? Man, everything I'm saying is really good. You guys are really paying attention. Nice guy. It's good. Okay, cool. Time is up, but you guys can obviously still keep working on this. Make sure you are in the Facebook group. Anthony just put the link there. And what you could do after this or later today, if you got to jump right after this, I got to jump in 15 minutes as well. We're going to go to get to the last section of the slides here. Make sure you post in our Facebook group today, or even right now, and share your copy. And then what everyone's going to do over the next few days is give each other feedback. And don't just post yours. Make sure you go to a couple other people and give feedback. Even if you like it, just say, hey, I like this. This is perfect. So make sure you're not just giving, but make sure you're not just taking feedback, but also giving it, right? So everyone, and if you didn't finish your template, if you need more time, that's fine. You can write it later today, tomorrow, and just post it, because we're going to keep this open for the next 5 days or so. So make sure you're in the Facebook group and you post your template, and everyone's going to help each other to really get it to 100%. And I'm going to do that as well, but I'm going to be the last person to speak. I want you guys to practice what you're learning and help each other out with it first and give feedback. And then at the end, when it's done Monday, I'll go back and share some additional thoughts for anything that I think is still missing. But anyways, guys, how was that? How did that feel? What was it? How did that feel to actually just write your next cold email template with the new things you've learned and force yourself to write it short and sweet with a template? Like, how was that actually writing it? I'm curious. Let me know in the chat. Yeah, templates help for sure. And I'm really impressed with what I'm seeing here. These are some really solid ones. I'll comment on a few ones quick. And then, by the way, guys, we're going to talk about lead magnets. So the last section of today is going to be a quick training on lead magnets. Anyways, guys, great job on the templates. And go make sure you post in the Facebook group right now or later today. Share your template. You're going to get feedback from everyone else on how to make it just 10 out of 10, right? And I'll be doing the same. So make sure you share your template in the Facebook group, and then you just put it below. And then make sure you also take 5 minutes to look at other people's templates and give them feedback as well, so that we can all help each other out. Cool. Now we're going to go in the bonus section, which is lead magnets, how to make your copy better by making your offer better. And thanks, guys, for staying with me. I know every day I go way over time, but I hope I'm glad to see a lot of you are still here. Hope you're enjoying it. You being here still, tell me you're enjoying it. If you guys have enjoyed today, if you enjoyed this copy session, let me know in the chat how you're liking it. And yeah, I'm excited to just go through the last little bit of it here. So lead magnets. Now, giving free stuff in business is nothing new, right? Think about all the examples in life. Like, you've been taking lead magnets since you were a little kid, right? Grocery store gives free samples. A shopping mall, they try perfume for free, or really they just assault you with perfume. That's how it is in America. Books, they have a summary on the back. That's a lead magnet, right? Software, they do free trial. Gyms do free trial, free class, free tour. Cars, they give you a test drive, right? Service businesses do PDFs, consultations, webinars, free trainings, free communities, free 5-day challenges. Events, free tickets to an initial event. And then a lot of people, they'll host a free event, and then the event itself is a lead magnet because they'll sell something at the end. Timeshares, right? They'll give a free hotel or a free activity. I got roped into a really scammy timeshare last year in Sedona, Arizona, but I got a free helicopter ride out of it, so that was pretty cool. And then astrology. If you ever seen any astrology websites, they give you like a free horoscope, and they'll make you pay for a more detailed breakdown. Now think about this. Think about real life, right? If you're buying a drink for a girl or a guy at a bar, that's a lead magnet, right? That's a free offer to get them to continue the conversation with you. A low risk offer. Think about that. So lead magnets are nothing new, right? Now here, let's go to some examples for agencies, right? And B2B businesses. So these are some of our clients. We've helped create lead magnets that have really worked very well. Amazon ad agency. We work with one of the biggest Amazon ad agencies on their lead gen, and they found the most success with doing a 30-minute PPC audit. So they would just basically say, hey, let me audit your Amazon ads, and I'll send you back a 30-minute video where we'll really break down how you can improve the performance. Copywriter would do a copy or content analysis. SEO agency worked really well as doing an SEO report or an audit. This is absolutely crushing it for him. He's saying, hey, I saw some problems with your SEO, a couple of things you can change to get more traffic. I'd love to give you a free audit and show you what's wrong, right? Guys, has anyone used a score up assessment or quiz as a lead magnet? I have not, but I do. I actually was just watching a video from that guy today on YouTube and very interested to try it out. And then me, I showed you the 10-minute case study video earlier. So I'm running 2 campaigns right now to book calls for our coaching program. One offers a call, like, hey, you want to meet? Second asks if they want to see a case study. And the second one is getting twice as many leads. That is the power of lead magnets, right? And why do lead magnets work? It's because everybody loves free, right? We all love free stuff, right? And it's a smaller commitment, right? So people are always scared of commitments, right? Especially when they don't know you. So if you can make the commitment smaller, hey, you get this free thing rather than buy something, right? Or meet with me, it's a smaller step, right? Also, there's a lot of perceived value, right? Because if you give away things that other people charge for sometimes, then they know that there's a lot of value there, right? And at the end of the day, it's different, right? How often do you get emailed that someone's offering to do something free for you or give you something free, right? Not most of the time, no. People are doing it more and more now, but most emails we get, they're out there just trying to sell you right away. So it's different. So it stands out. If you're in a really competitive industry, you 100% should be doing a lead magnet. All of you should be anyway, but especially 200% you should be doing it if you're in a competitive industry. Now, there's 2 kinds of lead magnets. Repeatable, which is you put in work to build it once. Customized, you deliver it to each prospect. Repeatable lead magnets is something that you create once and use it forever. And they're really great when you nail them, like a case study. This could be a free case study, a free industry report, a guide, PDF how-to, or it could be templates, right? If you're a copywriter or an email marketer, give them like an email sequence or templates, right? Or a funnel or a video script outline. I know there's a few video production people here, right? Or a social media marketing plan, right? Like you can templatize that. Or a spreadsheet. Like let's say you're doing like something with business finance or consulting, give them like a spreadsheet on how to, optimize their finances. Also, a free course, free tutorial, free lesson is great. So that's an example of one that you create once and use forever. Now, lead magnets help you stand out, especially in busy industries, but customized lead magnets stand out way more, and they typically work better, so you want to start here. Why? When you do actual work for someone, it has a higher perceived value because they know that, okay, that's something that I would pay for, right? So they know that this is a really good deal. And also, it allows you to spend time together. So an example of this is doing an SEO audit, right? Back to the example before. There's a lot of value in that because they know that people are actually putting in labor to do that, right? And then it allows you to spend time together and build trust, because if you give someone a free taste of your service, a free creative, a free consulting call, a free plan, a free audit, whatever, a free first week of service, right? Then you're actually already getting them to commit to working with you, and you're going to build all of this relationship before you even go to sell them your offer, right? So you're building a lot of trust ahead of time. And it also prevents drop-off as well. Sometimes if you give someone a case study or a course or something, they might not do it. But if you're actually doing something where they have to work with you, like they're going to follow through and they're going to have a meeting with you, right? So here's examples of a custom lead magnet. These generally work way better. They, of course, save more time, but they get a lot better results. So free audit, free analysis, free report, free ideas or concepts, free deliverable, free trial, free month, free consulting, free coaching, free strategy, free marketing plan. You guys all know this guy. He's super big on lead magnets, and he just had a huge lead magnet recently where he did a webinar with 500,000 people came, and he acted like he was going to sell something, but then he gave away like all these free courses, right? Everything he gives on his website is a free book. He makes his books $1. He knows the power of lead magnets more than anyone else, right? Now, real quick, when you're making a custom lead magnet, you want to get them to opt into your lead magnet by replying. So, for example, if you're sending like an audit of their ads, an audit of their website, an audit of their SEO, and if you're sending 10 or 20 videos, don't just send it, because then you're showing your hand, and you want to offer it and have them reply to get it. It also saves you the time. That way you're only making that free thing for someone who actually wants it. Here's an example, right? Hey, John, I'm a subscriber to your email list. After reading a few, I honestly felt these could be improved and could get you more sales. Can I share a quick video? I'll show you how to fix this, even if you want to try it yourself rather than me. If you had an email list and someone sent that to you who was a subscriber, you would be very likely to say yes, right? It's pretty much no risk, and now they've just told you that you have a problem, right? One I got recently, someone was offering some sort of HubSpot CRM solution, and they offered me a free HubSpot diagnostics check. So I thought that was pretty cool. Now, putting this into practice, brainstorm as many lead magnets as possible. So for me, whenever I'm doing anything creative, I like to first just let my mind generate a million ideas without judging them or criticizing them. So just brainstorm a lot of ideas first, so you have a lot to work with, and then pick the best 3 and test them out. And you don't even need to build them at first, right? If you're thinking about, oh, I want to build a free PDF, like just offer people an email, a free PDF, and then wait till someone says, yes, I actually want it, to make it. That way you're not making all these things that you don't even know if people want yet. Because remember, we're always testing first before we invest a lot of time into something. So brainstorm a bunch of lead magnets, pick the best 3 and test them out. And you can also make another post in the Facebook group to share the lead magnets you're thinking of, or in the WhatsApp group if you're in the VIP. And we can also help you if you're stuck on picking your best three. But again, as always, you're going to test them out, right? Here's some good brainstorming prompts, and this is pretty much the wrap up here. This is the last bit. So thank you guys for your patience and time as we're going well over time, but I know this is really, really awesome stuff. So I wanted to go in depth for you. This is one to screenshot. These are some brainstorming prompts. When you're brainstorming lead magnets, what will be valuable for your niche? These are some questions you can ask yourself, right? Think about what would make this person go, wow, they're giving that away for free, right? That's the impression you want to give, right? Then you're going to get a lot of people to say yes. And think about, what do your competitors charge for, right? So with agencies, a lot of competitors will charge for a strategy or an audit or a plan, right? Do that for free, right? And think about this. This is my favorite one. What makes you want to throw up all over your office? What makes you feel nervous to give it away? If you're thinking about a lead magnet and you're like, oh, like I can't give that away, and you just feel like a pit in your stomach, that's probably a good one. And if a prospect, one of my other favorites, if a prospect gave you $10,000 to help them as much as you could in 1 hour of your time, what would be the most valuable, right? Imagine a prospect gave you $10,000 and they said, I only want an hour of your time. What can you do for me? What would be the most valuable thing you could do, right? I think that's a good way to brainstorm, like something you can give that's quick and is really valuable and doesn't take a lot of your time. So think onboarding and fulfillment as well. So you probably already have a great idea sitting in your business. Think about when someone is actually a client and they onboard with you, what do they get? What are some of the first quick wins you get for them? Just take one of those things and give that to them, or give them like the template or the process for that. And just think, what gives them a quick win to something that's on their mind right now? You're not trying to solve a later problem for them. You're trying to offer them a lead magnet around a quick win, something that they're currently thinking about or is on their mind, right? And yeah, whatever can be a quick win for them is great. And also another way to think about it is, what's a big question your audience has, right? So another way to think about the problem is just a question, right? So what's a commonly asked question you get asked by your prospects? Think about what you get asked on sales calls or on comments to your posts or on DMs, right? What is a big question that your audience has? And just make the lead magnet the answer to that, right? So one of our clients is a SEO agency, and he signed a client from his cold outreach campaign in the first week of launching this lead magnet. So he was the one I mentioned was doing the SEO report. And literally within the first week, he signed a 7K deal for it, right? That's how powerful it is. And also with a really big whale client. And then at the bottom, this is Ross. He was doing cold outreach for almost a year and really struggled to make cold email work. As soon as we worked together, as soon as we implemented the lead magnet strategy, he was on fire, crushing it. And those are really good stats as well, 5% and 67%. And just so you know, he was doing video production and animation. And the lead magnet that worked really well was offering a free video script. And also another one we tested is 5 video concepts. So he was basically hopping on the call with someone, looking at their business and giving them 5 ideas for videos they can make. Worked really well. Last tip before we wrap up, even though I've said that a million times, is learn the rules, then break them. This is the formula for innovation. And yes, I quoted myself, sue me. It's good to learn the rules first and really stick to the templates, but then go off of it, right? Break some of the rules I shared with you today. This is a really cool one I got. I was super impressed by this, and I've still been in touch with this person. She says, hey, AJ, a few weeks back, I stumbled across this piece you shared on LinkedIn. She literally screenshotted my post, and then she gave her perspective on it. And then she said, hey, I noticed you weren't on Twitter, and she's offering ghostwriting services. So here's what I did next. I went ahead and I listened to a podcast of yours. I wrote an email, a thread, and a LinkedIn post. And here's the link. All you got to do is test them out. Because like you, I take pride in my abilities and get paid for results. I give them a taste of my work and let my work speak for itself. And if I feel like I can help you, why don't we work together? I would love to work with a person I genuinely look up to, and I hope my work shows that I'm not a beginner in the game. All good, even if it's a no. And I looked at her linked, and her example work was really good. So look, what do you guys think about this email? And this is super long, right? The rule is only 100 words, but again, you could break the rule sometimes if it's something that you think is really gonna work. So yeah, this was probably, I would say, like the best cold email I've ever received. Very good, but not scalable, so risky, exactly. And just so you know, her business she's got more of a boutique business. She only works with 3 to 5 clients as a copywriter. So for her, it's fine. Like she's happy to spend a lot of time to work with those ideal clients and just reach out to a couple every quarter. But yeah, anyways, you can still take the learning lessons from it regardless. But yeah, definitely good point about that. Quality over quantity. So if you're reaching out to a really big influencer or like some of the biggest companies in your space, this is an example of really putting in the effort to them. Cool, guys, here's what we know. Short, simple emails, conversational language, one-to-one, not one-to-many, casual, not salesy, not cringe. The big 3 are pain points, outcomes, and proof. Soft call to action, and use lead magnets. All right, guys, that's it for today. We'll see you tomorrow. Real quick, post your takeaway. Tomorrow, we're giving away the prizes, the 2 scholarships to our program, the free AI tools, the free campaign consulting session with me, and the t-shirts. Be there tomorrow, day 4 on time. It's going to be my favorite day of the whole week. We've got some really cool stuff in store for you guys. And real quick, what were your takeaways? post them in the chat real quick, or go in the Facebook group later. I've been seeing a lot of you guys post your takeaways in the Facebook group, and it's really cool for me to see what you learned the most, what you like the most, because it helps us know what we're doing well and what we should do more of next time. Yeah, quick takeaway, share it in the chat, but definitely make a Facebook post in our group with your takeaways, and also share your copy so that we can also help you with making it better. Awesome, guys. Thank you so much for spending the time. You really should give yourself a big pat on the back for taking this time to learn and develop yourself and your skills. Most entrepreneurs, they're just so busy just doing tasks and staying on the same hamster wheel, but you guys are awesome for taking this time to better yourselves and just be 1% better each week. And that's why I believe that you'll eventually be in the 1%, if not already there, because you have this mindset to take time out of your busy day to come here and sharpen the sword. So appreciate you guys and appreciate all of you for being here. And I'll see you tomorrow for day 4. See you guys then.